a lot of folks paying a lot of attention to how do we change business practices and infrastructure and ecosystems and communication systems for millennials. And yet a lot of comments I heard from fellow board members are, why are we pandering, to them? What I'm doing works, and they need to understand our business model as well. What's your thought on millennials? You have a young son. What's your thought?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think millennials get a bad rap. I have to tell you, I really do.
I agree with that, and I'll tell you why after you tell me why.
Yeah, you know what? So think back. I can speak for myself. I'm sure you're very similar to what we want out of life and what we want as older people and mentors, right? Is we want a sense of self, we want a sense of being appreciated, we want a sense of accomplishment. I don't think that's any different with the millennial. I think where it differs is the rate and the pace of what happens today is crazy. You can go onto Google and find out anything, anywhere, and some of it is fake news, so you never know what to believe and what not to. So I think their attention spans tend to be different, absolutely, and I don't think that they have the opportunity, or they've had the opportunity to grow up as we did with that human skill, get back to the handshake, get back to the eye contact and all of that. I think that's where, so it's interesting when you talk about the board because, yeah, I love that they're challenging and there's so many different views on that, but one of the things I appreciate about our board the most, Joe, is that what we all agree on, every single person in that room, is that we want to do the right thing for business.
Absolutely.
And we want to do the right thing for our members. So I'm not sure it's any different with millennials. I think it's like any other generation, we as business owners and we as business people need to understand who we're dealing with and really create that environment for them and help them understand that we can also mentor them. I'm not sure that's any different. I will tell you the difference I see now. So my son, as you said, is 10. They're reading The 7 Habits of Highly Successful Kids, right. Stephen Covey has written, right? So he's 10. In kindergarten, they were publicly speaking. They were up on their feet with a microphone giving presentations. I mean, this next generation, after the millennials, what they call the Z generation, will really challenge us because this Common Core has put them in a position where they're problem solving at a very, very young age. So, it's really about, it continues to be about how we create the right culture and environment for the people we bring in, right? In our businesses at least, and how they understand that they can learn something.
I agree. Look, productivity to me is everything. Obviously, in a law firm, it's about productivity. You gotta be able to create valuable time that a client's willing to, to pay for.
Right.
Our most productive lawyers are our millennial generation lawyers. I think that the way they are able to multitask, the way that they are able to use technology to help keep them efficient and productive, I think is fantastic. The country as a whole, I think people are shaking their heads, but nobody expected GDP to be at 3%. It's up. And the millennial generation is the highest producer of the GDP right now. So I think it's all about productivity. We mentioned Warren Buffett before, and when he was asked in his recent documentary, because he had taken an early view on women being able to enter the workforce and shatter glass ceilings. And he said, it's not a moral issue to me at all, it's a productivity issue. When half of our labor pool is sitting on the sidelines, we can become twice as productive if everybody's working. And so what I think companies need to do, it's not a millennial issue, is how do we change our process to become more productive? That's really it. And if you're going to motivate another generation to be productive, what is it that motivates them? I'm not sure it's all about infrastructure change and all this other stuff that we talk about. All that happens in every society. I just think it's about continuing to keep people productive, right? And as business leaders and as business owners, that's really our biggest thing, jobs, right? And so that is the challenge. What I love about the HIA, I'll tell you, is we were talking about millennials right. before any other organization was talking about the impact on millennials. And one of our board members, Rita DiStefano, she started this Young Entrepreneurs group and task force, and now we're moving that, we're moving that forward, and we were really thought leaders on it. So talk about some of the other great initiatives that have come out of the HIA, because we've done so many and there's so much to be proud of.
Yeah, well, particularly as it relates to young professional, and you're right. I mean, we need to be there, whether we feel it's they learn from us, we learn from them. I mean, it's what we've talked about for the last hour really is our ability just to listen to people, right? To really understand where they're coming from, whether it's a business partner, whether it's a young person, whether it's a board member. So our Young Professionals Committee is great because what it does very clearly is it helps mentor these people. And they're bringing in, you were one of the guest speakers, I know, they're bringing in speakers who are talking about how they started as an intern and now they're a CEO of a company and what led them there and what that path looks like. We do a lot of work with internships in our Education Workforce Connection Committee, particularly as it relates to companies who are doing it well, the Clear Visions and the D'Adarios of the world who have very clear internship programs and internship universities, and how to help companies do that to bring in young people who ultimately can become employees.